Hello everyone, I'm Venus Brown, and today I'm going to be doing a reaction to The Crown Season 1, Episode 10. This is the finale of the season. The episode is called Gloriana. I have this pillow on my neck because my neck and shoulder has been bothering me. I'm hoping this will kind of help it. I did call the VA and let them know what's going on so I could set up an appointment. They have not gotten back in touch with me to set the appointment up yet, so hopefully they'll do that soon. If you like this video, please click the like button. If you want more content, click subscribe. If you click that little bell and click all, then you'll get more content notifications.
I'm afraid you won't thank me for it.
You're worth it.
I love her with all my heart.
Of course, but more than your own country. More than your own brother.
Yes. Wife by your side and heirs to spare.
Did he have heirs?
I shall want you.
I don't remember him having any children. I know that.
Brother has indeed turned against brother.
Miss MacDonald, His Majesty has asked to see the two princesses.
Will never put anyone or anything before one another. You are sisters. Above all else, and must never let one another down. Understood?
It's a shaky thing, though. You're telling the sisters not to let anything come between them, but then you also have this loyalty to the royal family, and it's the royal family that's going to set them between each other. And then where do you draw the line when it comes to family? When you get married, your spouse is considered part of the family too. So
I say I am still committed to Peter. I've kept my side of the bargain. Now I'm hoping you'll keep yours. Of course.
of course.
Happy birthday.
This always seems to happen. She says yes to something and then somebody else comes in and is like, no. According to royal tradition, this can't happen. So she ends up breaking like multiple promises because royal tradition says it's wrong.
I request the second part of the Royal Marriages Act. The fact that Her Royal Highness has turned 25 merely means that she has reached an age where she can give notice of her intention to marry. Not that she is free to marry. Does Parliament approve? Only then, after 12 months have expired, can the marriage take place, and any marriage contracted in defiance of these rules.
But no one drew my attention to it or said anything.
Of course not. They didn't want to because they want to keep doing this shit to you, put you on the spot so that you can put yourself in between your relationships with other people.
She puts her foot down and forbids the marriage. That turns sister against sister and splits the royal house down the middle. Or she permits the marriage, setting a collision course with the church of which she herself is the head.
I knew there was something like this that happened, but I had kind of forgotten this and thought that the last thing was what like really drove that wedge, but this is what drives the wedge. And I don't blame her. It's like one thing after another. I want to marry this person. You're told no, not until this happens. That happens. I still want to marry this person. No, not until this happens. It's like one pushback after another. And you think that's not going to cause big problems with the royal family? these traditions themselves that are supposed to keep things stable are actually causing huge fractures.
Years already.
Oh, I understand.
And Peter's been through hell.
I know.
Waiting like a martyr, locking
I
himself
know.
away, seeing no one, speaking to no one. I've been crying into my pillow at night, counting the days. Why? Why? Because we were doing you a favor.
I'm
To
aware of
spare
that.
you-
It's got to be frustrating to be in a position like that. You are the head of the nation, the royal family, and your decisions are undermined every step of the way.
Oh, he dominates, that poor boy.
Our daughter's a boy and our son is, God bless him, a girl.
Don't be silly, he's just sensitive.
You can't go in November.
Oh, no, I didn't mean with me, I meant alone. My name.
Whose idea was that?
Would
Mummy?
you agree to it?
No, it'll be months.
Weeks.
Away from you. Away from the children. A different man.
All right, yes. Changed.
I'm a little fed up with her myself, truth be told.
Why? What's she done to you?
Don't get me started. Is she making life difficult for you and Peter?
Yes, she wants to delay the engagement.
Well, it serves you right, quite frankly. You both seem far too happy and far too in love.
Do we? Well, it's easy to be in love with someone who's not here, isn't it?
I like that castle.
Tell me about Colonel Nessa.
In Arabic.
You speak Arabic?
Oh, very bad.
السلام عليكم يسرني أن أكون هنا في القاهرة للقاء البكباشي.
هي جيدة. جيدة جدا.
ممتازة.
I'm sure the Colonel would have been charmed by that.
Okay.
On the contrary, it invited him to battle and promptly behaved like that.
أهلا بسيادة رئيس وزراء إيدن.
هل هناك مشكلة؟
محدش قال لي إن الدعوة بالملابس الرسمية.
لا يهم سيدي. هي مجرد بدلة.
لكنها البدلة الغلط.
Sensing his embarrassment and wishing to spare him further blushes, I tried to make the situation better.
الوقت وما خلته.
تظنني لا أعرف؟ مني يا كابتن إيدن.
That night, the Voice of Egypt radio station in Cairo claimed that Nasser had been deliberately humiliated by the imperious British.
No, dear. For us to discuss the matter. You see, I gave my sister my assurance that if she waited until the age of 25, she could do as she likes. Now I discover that's not true. And that she still needs to wait a year to get permission from Parliament, which is not the advice that I originally received.
Yes. Because a good many remain opposed to the idea on religious grounds.
Then advise me. After I gave it, knowing only half the facts.
Yet the times are changing. Morality is changing. Country is changing.
Yeah, you might want to work on changing some of those regulations. Because right now, they're causing harm.
Was it? Dispatching me to the penal colonies?
You mean entrusting you to go to Melbourne to open the Olympic Games alone? Actually, it was Tommy Lasse's.
You're your puppet. I might have guessed. Freedom. I have no freedom.
You have more freedom than any consort in history. You repay it by scowling and skulking like an adolescent. Have some time in the spotlight, be the main attraction, and enjoy the attention.
Advised that there was no easy way around the governing of Salisbury has made it clear that he would resign from government rather than submit to what he considers a subversion of the Church's teachings. This doesn't help you.
No.
No.
So if it is of all her rights, privileges, and income, she would have to be married in a civil ceremony, abroad. and be obliged to live out of the country for several years, will have prevailed and will be...
Is that what we call it?
Mrs. Peter Townsend.
I am more than my title, than these privileges. And Peter wouldn't want it anyway.
So if that's what sort of offer, I'll give up my title and we'll leave the country.
It's not what I want for you. So please think about it. I mean, really, really think about it.
Present what a growing majority want. The future, not the past.
A kinder, more tolerant attitude to marriage and divorce.
That's not me.
Than a government in your name.
She's not wrong.
Slow down here.
Why are you here?
To tell you that I love you.
Thank you.
But they're just children.
I know.
And I'm mad for you.
Me too.
Never to put anything or anyone before one another in the way that he felt his brother had. I will be breaking a promise, not only to my sister, but also to my late father, who might make it possible for me to keep my promise. His cabinet. No fewer than 4 divorced men in their number.
Mm-hmm.
Yourself included, Prime Minister. Now I wonder, in light of this, whether you might go back and use your considerable influence and ask your cabinet colleagues if they might reconsider.
Well, that there still will be the church.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, well, I'll see to that.
The Archbishop of Canterbury.
Is that Winchester?
Bath and Wells, Mum.
The big guns.
The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Marriage is a sacrament of God.
No circumstances where the Church might permit the remarriage of divorced persons while the husband or wife of the former marriage is still alive.
Even not my family.
Your Majesty is of the faith. That was the oath you made at the coronation.
I married the man of my choice, and I'd like to think she could do the same.
As head of the Church of England, I thought I might.
Well, in the name of the people that live with you and love you, might I suggest not being head of the church for a minute, or head of state, or head of the Commonwealth of Nations, or the army, or the navy, or the government, or the fount of justice, or the whole damn circus, frankly.
And be what?
A living, breathing thing, a woman, a sister, a daughter, a wife.
La Mariana Harnanope. I share with her the fate of having a great love that captured much of the country's imagination, only to have it forbidden by the establishment. So naturally, my sympathy is with her.
I see.
There is also the other great love of my life, the crown, and protecting that crown. One half is queen.
Exactly.
From the pages of some bizarre mythology that two sides within us, human and crown, engaged in a fearful civil war which never ends. Husband, sister, wife, mother, half king. My tragedy is that I have no kingdom. You have it. And you must protect it.
All right, so I have a question. If any of you know how this works, because I know how some of the laws and regulations and changing those laws, especially when it comes to federal laws and it comes to state laws, I know how some of that works. But I have no idea how these laws that are written that the queen has to follow that keep undermining her, how those are done. How would they go about changing those laws so that some of this stuff that's actually causing these big fissures and fractures within this royal system are not such big problems? Like, to me, there should be something that they can do to try to change the laws, or just change them a little bit, not necessarily a lot. I know they want to keep a lot of those traditions alive, and they want to keep a lot of it there for the stability of the crown, but it seems like this is actually causing instability for the crown. So it seems like they should be able and willing to make some minor changes to whatever these laws are, so that some of this isn't quite so bad. So there's not so much undermining of the very person that is supposed to be put in as head position of all these titles, like the queen, the head of the church, the head of state. Does the queen have any power when it comes to that? Is it all put on Parliament? Does it have to be like some of various positions? If the royal laws and traditions don't change at least a little bit, then what's going to happen? What does happen? They start to become irrelevant. People don't put the same faith in them. They don't see them the same. She's being undermined with every single big decision like this. Like, there should be some flexibility. People that are ruling the country, whether it be the king or queen or the prime minister or the president, people should also be able to have some faith in them, feel that they're ethical and moral, and the idea that you would make a promise to somebody and then you keep having to break one promise after another, that doesn't look ethical. It doesn't look moral. It looks very unjust. And I would think that would make the people look down on that position. Like, if you're going to be able to say, hey, I make these promises, but I can't keep any of them, you have no way to enforce the things that you're promising. What would be the process if she really, really wanted to, and she had the information, she had the power? What would need to actually be done to make some subtle changes to those laws and regulations? No, there's always the slippery slope argument, but you can use the slippery slope argument for almost any change. And if we're going to do that, if we all step back to when all of these laws, constitutions, all of these legal implements were put in place, and say you can't ever change them, they have to always stay the same, what would our world look like? What would humanity look like? I would say it wouldn't look very human.
Dereliction of duty, but I was prepared to go through it all and support you as a sister, because I'd given you my word. But
apparently my word isn't really worth much of anything.
I have no choice. I cannot allow you to marry Peter and remain part of this family. Will you forgive me?
If you deny me the man I love.
If I put duty before family.
Would you forgive anyone who denied you, Philip?
It doesn't compare.
Well, it compares exactly.
It does.
In marrying Philip, I wasn't violating the scriptures or offending the church.
Doesn't matter. Still compares.
We will love others.
When people make statements like this, you don't always have a choice in who you fall in love with and whether you're going to fall in love with somebody else. It's a pretty stupid assumption to make that, oh, you're going to fall in love with somebody else. That's not necessarily true.
Knows how to calm me, to reassure me, protect me. Don't tell me you understand that. You don't know for a minute what it is to be flailing about. Oh, Peter is the only one.
Unanchored. I think that's the term that they used in one of the other episodes. Yep, sometimes you gotta know your family member doing to them. My mom used to have paintings like that. Little children, some with like a little dog next to them.
Princess Margaret and I are strengthened by the unfailing support of the royal family, whom it has been my honor Brussels to continue my important work as air attaché there.
I feel like crying.
Cess's decision with a period of mounting suspense, the end of a story of love and duty, with duty prevailing.
Present, which left him exposed since he doesn't speak sufficiently good English. He felt tricked and humiliated and has taken the whole thing as a terrible affront.
I'm opening the games with Royal Tour. Stay away even longer, 5 months. Long way to go. A long time for a father to be away from his children. But no. If it gives me time to reflect and to work out my priorities and to settle, not just in the marriage, but, generally, it'll be worth it.
Will it?
I was just trying to help.
No. Don't dress betrayal up as a favor.
Will you be back late?
My husband goes away sometimes. I actually don't mind it, but it's like for a week, maybe 2 at the most. My husband being gone for 5 months, that is a very different story. And I know when my dad was in the military, sometimes he had to go away for a year at a time. Duty stations in Korea and stuff like that. And it's not that, it's your duty and you can't legally stay with the person where they're going. 5 months is a long, long time for something where part of your family is sending that person away. Going away for a little while to try to figure things out, sort yourself out, that's one thing, but 5 months is too long. That makes it more likely that things are going to get worse. You're not dealing with the problems, you're running away from them. And in this situation, they're forcing him to run away from them and stay gone for a longer period of time, which means he'll be left to his own devices. And pretty sure that doesn't work out very well.
Whom a grateful isle hath blessed.
Sage lady.
Not moving, not breathing, our very own goddess, glorious Gloriana.
Sage as in a descriptive word, a sage person, or sage as in like the plant.
Yes.
Well, that was the end of the season. Season 1, episode 10. A lot of messed up stuff happening in that episode. And I'm pretty sure the next season, like The Crown does frequently, the next season, change out the actors and actresses that are playing certain parts because there's a big age jump and time jump. And I actually like that they do it that way. It's a little jarring at first when you first see it, but I think it works well because it is a preceding season. In order to move forward with the story of what's going on in these lives, you gotta have them age up. You can't have them like the same age being played by the exact same people the whole time. not when it's this much of a period of time that they're trying to cover. All right, I will see you on the next episode of The Crown, Season 2, Episode 1. See you then. Until next time, I'll see you when I see you. If you like this video, please click the like button. If you want more content, click subscribe. If you click that little bell and click all, then you'll get more content notifications.